Okay, we're here with the first interview on Saturday here at NAHBS, and a man that needs no introduction is Craig Calfee, but he has a new brand, Bamboosero. So Craig, tell us about this brand and how it came about.
Well, Bamboosero is a company I created to manage and sell the bamboo bikes that we have made in Africa. We're training people in Africa how to make bikes out of bamboo using local materials and local bamboo and importing them to the US and selling them. This bike is pretty special because this is the first bike I've designed specifically for use in Africa. All the components of it, including those big tires, are designed for use there. And it's also a business model where we're trying to set up entrepreneurs in Africa where they rent the bikes. So it's sort of a rent-to-own idea for local use to keep the cost down, but also make them nice enough that tourists can ride them and enjoy them. And there's a lot of detail about it that we could talk about, but the biggest one and most noticeable is the tires.
The fat tire.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of manufacturers convinced me to do a fat tire forum on MTBR, and within 6 months it became our #4 biggest forum out of 200.
Yeah.
So there's definitely something to it, but I just did not anticipate bamboo in Africa to be a place for it, but it sounds so natural. Tell us about that. It is.
In Africa, there are not many people who have serious skills with bicycles, managing suspension components. Even just having Allen wrenches is a challenge. So aside from the skills and the tools, then there's also the problem of spare parts. So one thing they do very well is they fix flat tires very easily. So this gives suspension as well as a lot of security going on the rough terrain. The other feature that I discovered from some guys who use these tires on regular terrain is that it floats in the river. Yeah, these bikes, you throw them in the river, they will float. And this is actually a huge deal in a place like the Congo, where a place the size of Texas, the roads are washed out constantly. The Congo River Basin is just full of tributaries. And if you want to get from point A to point B, you generally have a few river crossings to deal with.
River crossings.
And if the bridge is washed out or there is no bridge, you basically...
That could be an advertising slogan. Buy my bike. It floats in the river. When I was in Interbike, one thing I really noticed about the fat tire is the rougher the road got, the more unpaved it got, the more it excelled. A normal mountain bike would just come to a stop, but a fat tire bike, I would put it off the trail and it would still roll with easy rolling resistance. So that's probably a big advantage. Oh,
it's huge. Yeah, just the terrain is, the footpaths are there, but a lot of them become like not even a path. But there's villages and they travel all over the place along these footpaths, and it really is a tremendous boon.
Enabler.
Yeah, I mean it's better than a pickup truck because you can get further and farther with it. And the thing with trying to design a bike for Africa, you always look at the cheapest possible bike because nobody can afford a bike that costs more than $100. Well, this is about an $800 bike over there.
Wow.
So the way we figured out the business model is to rent them instead of ask people to buy them or do microfinance.
That's the financing aspect of it.
So just a rental program would work, as well as making them nice enough for tourists. So if you wanted to right now go to Africa and go on a bike tour without having to bring your own bike, which is kind of risky, the local bikes are in such poor condition that it's really no fun.
Practical,
So having this available as a tour bike for tourists gives more economic opportunity and helps pay for the bikes.
Unbelievable. This material, tell us about it. I think it went from this to this.
Yeah, this is a very interesting material. This is bark cloth. It comes from the ficus tree.
Comes from a tree.
It's peeled off as bark. It doesn't damage the tree. The tree survives.
Just regenerates.
And it's interesting. I don't know if you wanted to try pointing the camera into the light, but you can see there's fiber orientation. So it's similar to fiberglass. And we cut it into strips and wrap the joints with it. We also laminate on top of plywood.
So that's a bark cloth right there, huh?
And this was our first attempt at making a separate product from it, and it's actually pretty robust. We molded this with very low-tech compression molding with plywood forms and rocks for weights. So we just compression molded this as if we were in the middle of Africa, and so they can produce these things with local materials. And we import the plant-based epoxy, so they have a relatively non-toxic matrix material.
Well, thank you, Craig. Again, it continues to floor me. Bamboo bikes. We have more bamboo builders coming, and they all pay respects to Craig, who started the whole category. But now it looks like you're enabling a nation as well.
Yes.
So is that the goal, to make it just another option for material? Yeah,
it'd be great to just have it be one of the common options for making a bike, and then also because of the accessibility of the material, to allow other places to become bicycle industries. It's you know, a lot of our bikes come from China, and because of the low-cost labor. Well, Africa's got even lower cost labor, and they need the work even more. So it'd be great to give them a chance building something that is so useful and needed in their own country.
Thank you for your time.
All right.